Welcome to rSlash Am I the Butthole, where OP's family expects her to just give her brother $21,000 a year for nothing. Am I the butthole for moving out after my parents told me to give my space to my brother and his family? I'm a 27-year-old woman who lives with my parents. I have a job, and I've been helping them by paying rent and buying groceries. My brother is married and has 2 kids, a 2-year-old and a newborn. He recently lost his job, and he asked my parents if he can move back until he's back on his feet. My parents told me that I would need to move out of the basement suite in the house and into my mom's hobby room while my brother and his family stay with them. I didn't agree, and they said that it was their house, their rules. I don't really own a lot of stuff. Everything in the suite belongs to them. I don't even own my own bed. I picked up my clothes and my laptop, and I went to work like usual. I work out of town for 14 days, and then I have 7 days off. Whenever I'm at work, I book an all-inclusive for my week off. It costs me less than the rent and the food at my parents' house? Jeez, what is she paying? An all-inclusive for a week costs less than the rent and food at my parents' house. I told my parents my plans, and they were cool with it. I started getting texts a few days ago asking where my rent and grocery money was. Oh, these people. I said that I moved out. That if I wasn't living there and eating there, that I wasn't going to be giving them money. They got really upset because they were counting on the money to help support my brother. They said that I moved out without giving notice. I said they literally gave away my living space and that I didn't owe them anything if I wasn't living there. I asked them how much they're charging my brother. I was giving them $1,800 a month Canadian money for rent and food, and I was only home a maximum of 14 days a month, usually less. My brother called me to say that I was a butthole for not helping him out. I pointed out that he didn't send our parents money when he was employed. He said that he has a family to support, so he needs the money. He said that if I came back, he and his family would move upstairs and I could have my space back. But I actually did the math. I can stay at all-inclusives, which covers my room, maid service, food, alcohol, and entertainment for 2/3 of what I was paying my folks. I sent my parents $500 to help them with their groceries, then I went to the beach. My parents, my brother, his wife, and a fair few of my other relatives are saying that I'm the butthole for abandoning them in their time of need. I think if I'm not there, I shouldn't have to pay anything. Am I the butthole? Yo, what did I just read? You were paying $1,800 a month? And their response is to kick you out without a moment's notice. And you weren't even there half the month. You were there 50% of the time, max. Yo, this is wild. This is crazy. OP says that she's in Edmonton, Canada. I don't know a damn thing about Edmonton, Canada. But unless it's like New York or LA, $1,800 should easily be enough to get you your own apartment. So just don't live with them. Why? What'd be the point? And now you're just supposed to send them $2,000 a month for no reason? 1,800 times 12 is $21,600 a year. Just, here you go. $21,000, mom and dad, for you to spend on my brother and whatever else you want. Yo, this is a crazy amount of money. God, I can't even believe what I just read. People typically live with their parents to save money, and you were shelling out almost $2,000 a month? OP, move on, girl. Time to move out, cut the cord, live your life. OP, you get 0 out of 5 buttholes. I'm giving your family members 2 out of 5 buttholes. Am I the butthole for the meltdown that I had on Christmas Day, which caused my dad's wife to cry? So, for background, my mom died. I'm currently a 17-year-old girl. When my mom died, I was 11, and my sisters were 16 and 18. I'm currently a 17-year-old girl. Our dad met his second wife a couple of years later when I was 13. The expectations for my relationship with my stepmom and my sister's relationship with my stepmom were very different. My sisters were expected to be civil, but if they weren't close, it was no big deal. But almost everyone, minus my sisters and minus my mom's family, expected me to see my dad's wife as some second mother or maternal figure. They got married when I was 14. My dad's wife wanted me to divide Mother's Day between my sisters and my maternal side of the family with her. My sisters were not expected to do the same. My stepmom would say that she wanted to celebrate the day with her kid. She signed us up for mother-daughter things. She would get hurt when I didn't want to go and would never ask my sisters to go. I asked her before why she expected me to do these things with her, but she never invited my sisters. She said that she was raising me and she wanted to be a mother in my life, but that my sisters were grown. I told both her and my dad on separate occasions that I didn't want or need and wouldn't accept anyone else into that kind of figure. They just ignored me. I had a small run-in with my sisters when my dad was getting married because I said that he shouldn't and my sister said that he should be allowed to move on and mom would want him to be happy. When I explained to them what was going on, they realized why I was feeling that way. They tried talking to dad about it, but it did no good. My dad's side of the family would make all these comments that I was lucky to have another maternal figure, or how I don't seem to give her the care or consideration that she deserves. They would ask me why I seemed to spend no time with her of my own free will, or why I was never loving towards her. My dad told me that I should show her more love and affection, and he told me that I made her feel left out when I didn't tell her stuff or when I made plans with others but not her. I know that some people would love to have someone like this in their lives, but I want the same relationship my sisters have with her, but more as expected. So Christmas Day came and everyone was at our house for Christmas, minus my mom's family. My dad and his wife gave me a card that was listed from my parents, and my sister got them a card that said from dad and his wife. Then it came time for family photos. We got one picture with the three sisters and dad. Then, my grandparents wanted me in the family one with my dad and his wife, but my sisters weren't expected to be in it. I tried to step out of the photo, but my dad's wife said that this wasn't a family photo without their kid. This was the point where I lost it and told her that I am not her kid. She is not my mother figure. That she's my dad's wife just like she is to my sisters, and I want it to be that way. I said that I don't love her, and I hate how they treat her like she suddenly became a parent to me. My sisters were on my side, but my dad was furious, and his wife cried and cried harder as I continued. Am I the butthole? So basically, for the last 6 years or so, you and your sisters have been trying to communicate to your parents that you don't like this, it's making you uncomfortable, and you don't want to see her as a maternal figure. But your dad and your stepmom just ignore you over and over and over again until eventually you snap. And that's your fault? Nah, doesn't work that way, man. Man, I'm honestly trying to decide what is worse here. Is it worse that OP's father and stepmother are effectively trying to replace her dead mom? Or is it worse that OP's father is cutting the other two sisters out of the family and not treating them as being his real family? I don't know, they're both pretty bad, man. OP, I'm giving you and your sister 0 out of 5 buttholes. I'm giving your stepmom 2.5 out of 5 buttholes for completely ignoring your boundaries. I'm giving your dad 4 out of 5 buttholes for ignoring your boundaries and for essentially cutting his other 2 daughters out of his life. Clearly, in this family, the only 2 opinions that matter are the opinions of your father and your stepmother. Am I the butthole for refusing to return my daughter's Christmas gift? My daughter Kayla, who's 17, has been asking for a laptop for a while. Money's been tight, so my wife and I saved up to get her one for Christmas. I couldn't wait to give it to her. The other day, I came home from work and I find Kayla upset. My wife is in a mood, and our son Martin, who's 15, is looking pleased. I asked my wife in private what was going on. She started venting to me that Kayla is an ungrateful brat and that we should return her gift. She then explained that she and our son decided to pull a small prank on our daughter. Martin told Kayla that instead of getting a laptop for Christmas, Kayla was getting the same amount in gift cards to various stores. Clothing, food, not places you could buy a laptop. Because their mom felt that she wasn't ready for one. Kayla got very upset and asked my wife if that was true. My wife said yes and added, maybe next year. Kayla got upset and said this wasn't fair, that she had only asked for one thing, that clearly money wasn't an issue. My wife admitted to the prank and started laughing, which made Kayla even more upset, and she told my wife that she was a jerk. My wife feels that how Kayla reacted to the prank showed her true colors, and what if we couldn't afford it? I pointed out that we had told Kayla in the past that when we couldn't afford it then, she took it well. It seems that the issue was knowing that we had the money and we could have bought it, but allegedly didn't. I asked my wife what she expected to come from this little prank, and I called her childish for roping Martin into it. I said that I'm not returning the laptop. My wife is mad at me and says that Kayla needs to be punished. I also made my wife tell Kayla that it was all a prank. Kayla apologized for calling my wife a jerk, but said that the prank was super hurtful. My wife refused to apologize and doubled down that she doesn't feel Kayla deserves it. Martin did apologize for his role. Am I the butthole? This is weird. I don't understand what your wife was going for. It sounds like she specifically did this prank with the intention of pissing off Kayla so that she could then have justification for returning the laptop. Outside of that, I can't really figure out a reason because it's not a funny prank at all, not even remotely. It's just plain mean. OP, I'm giving you 0 out of 5 buttholes. You should give your daughter the laptop. But I have to ask you, what's your wife's problem with your daughter? Am I the butthole for announcing my pregnancy? I'm a 28-year-old woman, and I'm pregnant with my husband's baby. I have a 30-year-old sister who's been trying to get pregnant for the past 5 years. This has resulted in 3 miscarriages and a stillbirth. When I found out that I was pregnant, I made sure not to tell my sister since she was grieving her stillborn, who had passed around a year ago. I told my parents and my husband's parents, and they were overjoyed. Out of respect for my sister, I didn't have a baby shower or gender reveal or any big ceremony. I just had a lunch where I announced the pregnancy to close friends and family, and we all agreed not to tell my sister until we felt like she was ready to know. Anyways, I'm now 34 weeks pregnant, and I haven't seen my sister in over 6 months. She called me the other day to tell me that she was 3 months pregnant, and things have been going well so far. I congratulated her, and she invited me to her house for dinner. I discussed this with my parents and husband, and we decided that it was time to tell her. I went to her house for dinner this weekend, and when she let me in, she freaked out. She asked me if I was pregnant, and I said that I was. She started sobbing. She was absolutely hysterical. Her husband took her in to calm her down, and we decided to leave. She texted me on Monday saying that it was selfish that I was going to have my baby first and my parents would be more focused on me than her. She accused me of being cruel and getting pregnant just to upset her. She said that she would ask our parents to choose between us. This was the last straw for me. This was my first pregnancy, and I wanted to do things like a baby shower and everything, but I didn't because I knew that it would hurt my sister. I called her a selfish, mean B-word and blocked her. Her husband called me to tell me that she was inconsolable because her own sister was trying to upstage her and her baby. Our mom isn't taking sides, but my dad and my husband are on my side. A few of my cousins have reached out to me, calling me names, and it made me wonder if I'm in the wrong. So, am I the butthole for announcing my pregnancy? Okay, so to specifically answer the question, are you the butthole for announcing your pregnancy? Kinda, sorta, a little bit, because this was her dinner to celebrate her baby, and then you show up 8 months pregnant. At that point, you may as well have just shown up with a baby in your arms. So, I think the mistake you made here, OP, is that there was a period of time where you could have safely told your sister and the fallout wouldn't have been your fault, but you waited too long, so you missed that window, and now showing up to her doorstep for her party with a huge belly is kind of a butthole move. Now, that being said, her reaction is unhinged. Saying that it's unfair for you to have the baby first? Well, what are you supposed to do? Just wait indefinitely until she has a baby and then you can get pregnant? That doesn't make sense. What if she never gets pregnant? Then you're never allowed to have a baby? And then forcing your parents to choose? What? Okay. Your sister has gone off the deep end. I do feel for her because 3 miscarriages and a stillbirth is pretty traumatic, but she's taking it out on you and it's not your fault. So OP, I'm giving you 0.5 out of 5 buttholes for not telling your sister about the pregnancy. Instead of just telling her, you're basically surprising her with a surprise baby out of nowhere. I'm giving your sister, however, 3 out of 5 buttholes. Am I the butthole for telling my daughter-in-law that her being poor is not my problem and to stop judging about the 75 plus presents under the tree? Everyone in my family came over to my place for Christmas. I have 5 kids and 14 grandkids, plus everyone's spouses and all the older relatives. The kids each get 3 presents, so that's 42 gifts just for the kids. There are 17 adults and I get them 2 gifts each, so that's 34 gifts in total. Then I get 9 gifts in total for the pets in the family. I'm not even counting any gifts from my husband and me or any of the gifts that I got from all the relatives. If I did that, then it would be around 100 presents under the tree. As you can see, this is a ton of gifts, and I start shopping for everyone at basically the start of each New Year's. Also, young kids are so easy to shop for. Anyways, I put everything under the tree and it's a mess each year. My issue is that one of my daughter-in-laws, the whole night, she kept going on about not being able to get many presents for their 2 kids. At the adult table, she started ranting about how I made her look bad to her kids. Her husband tried to make her stop, and she told him that someone has to tell this B word what was up. I had enough at this point, and I told her that her being poor is not my problem, and to stop judging the amount of presents. The dinner went on, and the kids had a wonderful time. Now, my son wants me to apologize. Yo, this woman is in your house, eating your food at your dinner table, calling you a B word while your presents to her are under the Christmas tree, and you're supposed to apologize for that? Excuse me? Excuse me? How are you gonna chew my food that I cooked for you and then in the next breath call me a B word? Yo, get out of my effing house, lady. OP, I'm on your side. You get 0 out of 5 buttholes. I'm giving the daughter-in-law 1.5 out of 5 buttholes. That was rSlash Am I the Butthole. And if you like this content, check out my podcast where I publish the exact same episodes. Also, hit that subscribe button because I put out new Reddit videos every single day.